As above, so below, as within, as without. You have a microcosm and a macrocosm. You have the temple, which is you, right? Y'all can't see me pointing at it, but it's over there. You have the temple, which is you. You are the temple, right? You are the microcosm inside of the macrocosm. You are your chakras and different things correlate to the earth and to the different spheres of energy, because you are like a mini version of the thing that you're seeing. But remember, all of this comes from your mind. And you are playing roles down here. All this comes from the mind first. And once you understand everything comes from the mind, you realize that everybody that you see is only an image through certain light frequencies. And this light is coming from the mind, from this darkness, right? And in this understanding, you have what? The heaven, which is the heaved up place, the place with the most holes, the holy place. You have, the middle place, which is like the sun almost, right? Which is like, the balance, so to speak. And then you have like the bottomless pit, which is a representation of hell, or you're talking about the heel of the foot. So, even photon light, like we said, is a product of electromagnetism and different things like that, or oscillating electric and magnetic charges and fields and different things like that. Still not the best demonstration I could give you on a two-dimensional screen, but you have physical space. You have the zodiac between physical and spiritual space. You have rings within rings, and you have wheels within wheels. You feel what I'm saying? As above, so below. As you see, it connects all the way through and through, right? So this is the Trinity all the way down from 369. You're talking about before light, before energy, before matter, before time, before space, before place, before the soul and before these different sets of energy. So we're talking about non-ether, right? So shout out America, right? Right, hitting America, right? So as the electric field or the electric charge gets disturbed, then it causes the magnetic field to, make a move and shift and things like that. So the electromagnetic field works together in tandem, right? And so you have an electromagnetic field that is going to be around the earth. It's going to be around everything in existence. You're going to have a positive and negative electrical charges, right? And no matter what you do, you can't run from this fact. So this is why we have this spiraling motion around everything, because the spiraling motion is teaching you that these fields actually, what comes from the fields is you have movement, right? Because the mind thinks first, right? And as this mind, as you think, you're actually creating the electricity in your head when you're thinking. So as you create this electricity and this magnetism, you're actually causing things to move in space and time. And as things move in space and time, now they shift from dark matter into dark energy or chaos energy, right? And as things go from chaos energy, then the gases and everything else aggregate to a central point, and you create light and different things like that. And then from this creation of light, now you have the ability to be able to manipulate the wavelengths and the waveforms and how things hit things at a certain angle based upon the valence electrons. Or if you're talking about an atom, you're talking about the valence electrons and how other atoms and different things will come and hit that field and then cause it to do certain changes and things like that. Or you're talking about something else that is a little bit bigger on the outside, affecting externally affecting the frequency of wherever we at, whether it's the planet, whether it's it don't matter what it is, right? It's simple. See, like I just said, right? As particles come in collision with moving particles, or when particles interact with other particles, you're talking about how it excites the electron in the atom. And as it does this will cause the energy to excite, and it will cause it to oscillate faster, right? And then as it goes back to its original state, it will release a photon, or release photon light, right? A particle. And this will ultimately affect what images you see. So it's natural in the all for things to have changed, right? So the all doesn't change, but the things inside of the all changes. So what am I saying? I'm saying that in the natural cycles of time, or what we call time, and time is a product of the mind. And you understand that time itself isn't real in the fashion of, you run out of time or anything. Time is more of a fire. Time is more of when you're talking about you know, things being able to produce change. And through this change, that means you have to have different phases of things that are itself, of energy, different phases of matter, different phases of existence, right? And that's what time really is. So this is why you see Thoth representing, he's not even just the moon. That's just a example they gave you in later day Egypt. But Thoth represents that principle of alchemy, not just magic, but alchemy itself. We're talking about the product of change and how the phases of matter and the phases of things, whether metaphysical or spiritual or anything like that, it's about change, and it's about these different products of change. So that's why when you see the zodiac, you should understand it represents the physical and spiritual space, because the zodiac is a product of change. It's teaching you that throughout these different seasons and throughout these different cycles, you have angles or certain degrees of each thing that makes up the whole thing, or the whole piece, or the whole field, or a field, so to speak. So you're talking about how you have a field comprised of multiple frequencies. And frequencies are when things vibrate or oscillate in a circle. You have frequencies that are created through a manipulation of that field. So as the field interacts with other fields, it interacts with something else, whether it's internally or externally, it starts to change the frequency. So now you have different frequencies in the field itself, like different notes being played, so to speak, because it's like music, because everything is like music. And this is why they call it the Schumann resonance when it comes to the Earth's electromagnetic field, because every planet has a certain notes that is playing and certain frequencies that is playing, telling you that this is all like an orchestra. It's all orchestrated. To be an orchestra, to be an organ, to organize. All these words mean the same thing: organize, orchestrate, organ, demonstrate. You're talking about to be stable. So that's matter up at the top of the screen, and you can really see it as light particles, right? So we're talking about how the universe itself is a product of having like two sides of the brain, right? Like a left and right hemisphere, like a conscious, subconscious, and a superconscious, which is the unification of both sides or all parts of the body as well as the universe. And you understand that the universe is actually spiraling, and we tell you about this DNA helix spiraling motion, right? But there's actually different frequencies that is intertwined with these. So it would be like many different frequencies entwined with your electromagnetic field, right? And you can kind of see how it's moving, how you have the North Pole and how things would move through the North Pole and move through the South Pole and do different things like that. Because when you talk about electric energy, always tries to seek the lowest pressure point, while the magnetism always wants to, expand and radiate out and upward. So this is why you have what you call lodestone or magnetism, and you have, electric force, and you have electric force, which is a dielectric force, or electricity, which powers the body and runs the body. So why do we study this? Because the man is the 5-pointed star. The man in the 6 is representing the third eye, because the third eye gets you in tune with the higher spaces, with you starting to go into beyond a physical sense, because the 5 is physical. The 5 is physical. The 6 is when you go into your conscious third eye. The 7th is the crown. You understand these are different spaces as well, or different dimensions of your part of the whole realm of Earth, so to speak. And so you keep going and keep going, you understand that these higher fields of energy will connect you to higher realities. So remember, this is why the Egyptians always say, know thyself, because you got to know the microcosm and the macrocosm. You got to know the inside and the outside. You have to be able to know your mind as well as your heart. You have to be able to know why you do the things you do, whether it's ancestral or whether in your DNA lineage of your past relatives, or whether it's something that was in your soul, or whether it was something that was an outside influence that is trying to influence your mind. So this is why we always learn ourselves, because this ability to be sovereign and practice sovereignty is very important.